Hey oldies lovers, friends of the coalition invites you to a night of golden oldies. Come out and let's get down to the popular songs of Singerman One Man Band and the popular stereo songs. Friday 17th November at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Proceeds in aid of the Elections Campaign Fund. Come out and let's boogie woogie.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government, and on that grounds I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams Tv, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting oil money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. Stop fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Rickford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey oldies lovers, Friends of the Coalition invites you to a night of golden oldies. Come out and let's get down to the popular songs of Singerman One Man Band and the popular stereo songs. Friday 17th November at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Proceeds in aid of the Elections Campaign Fund. Come out and let's boogie woogie.
Rastaman vibration.
On the Farming Association with Bobfest ATL is excited about the annual Harvest Party weekend in Atlanta, GA.
Saturday, November 18th at 5 p.m. till midnight. It's an evening party called Lively Up Yourself.
Enjoy a 5-course farm-to-table feast with Mystic Roots, featuring live on the wheels, selectors Muto Baruka live from Jamaica's Irie Affair, DJ Sanzaf, and DJ Russ Imon.
Live performances with full band by Ross Colfie and Permaculture, Russ Frazier Jr.,
Aja Ray,
and other special guests.
all taking place at Arts Exchange, 2148 Newman Street, East Point, GA.
Then on Sunday, the 19th of November, it's the Reset.
Satsang Style and Brunch, featuring performances by the international legend Muto Baruka. Also featuring Ras Takura, brunching and reasoning to the sounds of Kim String at YG Urban Cafe, 640 Evans Street. Purchase tickets online on thefarm.eventbrite.com.
It's the annual Harvest Party weekend in Atlanta, GA.
Hey oldies lovers, Friends of the Coalition invites you to a night of golden oldies. Come out and let's get down to the popular songs of Singerman One Man Band and the popular stereo songs. Friday 17th November at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Proceeds in aid of the Elections Campaign Fund. Come out and let's boogie woogie.
Are you planning your next visit to Oil Ridge, Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of the Moraro, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
Verons is now accepting local bookings. Yes, Verons is now accepting local bookings, and so if you are a local, if you're right here in GT and you're looking for a comfortable place to spend the weekend, spend the night, spend the day, check them out. Verons. Morning, neighbor, morning. I'm not sure you can hear me, but I'm hoping so. Can you hear me? Somebody tell me something. Can you hear me? I am not seeing my my levels this morning. The challenges are many, but you know what? We have to persevere. Can't give up. Giving up is never an option. Good. So I think you can hear me. So morning, are you morning? Welcome to the program. It's Wednesday morning. Usually we'll have Dr. HINDS on. I am not sure if he's going to be on this morning, but I rather suspect so. I hope so. But in the meantime, what going on with you? What is happening with us? How you been? How was your yesterday? How was your last night? Make money? People say all I always think about is money. Yeah, I gotta learn to think about money. Because money will make a lot of difference. Money makes a lot of difference. Money, to a large extent, determines so many things that we ordinarily look at as insignificant. You ever look around your circles? Who are your friends? Or I should say acquaintances, because not everybody that you hang with is a friend. Many of them are acquaintances. According to them Jamaican boys, many of them are frenemies. Right? We are frozen now. Joy Fraser? Are we frozen? Because I see Joy is saying frozen now. Good, I'm back. Yeah, I'm getting some technical difficulties, man. I don't know what they are really, but we will survive. We will persevere. Right? Yes. Frenemies. You know, they're those people who would walk with you to watch you fail. As I like to remind you. They give a bright smile. They give you a warm welcome. And so on and so forth. But deep in the heart they're saying, why this one don't drop dead? Why don't disappear off the scene? Right? So it's not everybody that you hobnob with. It's not everybody that you share the same space with, and sometimes the same ideology with, and so on and so forth. The same goals with. You consider friend. Some of them are just acquaintances or colleagues. But when you look at money, or the influence of money, you recognize, as they say, you recognize the differences. How easy it becomes to get the attention of some people as against others. Have you ever tried as a poor man to meet a minister of government or a senior public servant or even the girl next door? Have you ever tried it? Broken? I can tell you sometimes it can be such a difficult thing. But as soon as they associate your name with money or wealth, people usually start falling over each other to make your acquaintance, to get to know you, to facilitate you. And so if that is the currency of good relations, I will always continue to encourage you to make money. Because everybody wants good relations. Everybody wants to have access to the corridors of power. Everybody wants to have service. And there's some simple things which are necessary for human beings to be comfortable in their existence. And service is one of them. And so if money is what will buy service, then by all means, make money. So did you make money yesterday? Apart from your government salary, assuming you're working with the government, apart from your private sector wages and salaries, assuming you're working with them, and assuming they pay you adequately enough, well, my first assumption is that they're not paying you adequately enough. And since they're not paying you adequately enough, you have to go out there and do a side hustle, a legal side hustle, earn some money on the side. Good? I learned yesterday that the discrimination in this country, the economic oppression in this country is really, really a sickening thing. Yesterday I was speaking with a welder. Had to get a welder to do something for me. Let's say a couple hours work, 2-3 hours work, max. And at the end of the day, I had to pay that welder. And as I paid him, he said to me, I was supposed to start a job with one of these ExxonMobil support companies. I said, supposed to? He said, yeah. So I asked him, I said, what happened? Why you didn't follow it up? He said, when I asked the guy who interviewed me what my salary was going to be, he said $180,000. So I got excited and said, a week? He said, no, $180,000 a month. So he said, he looked at the guy and said, $180,000 a month? That is not even $1,000 a month? The guy said yes. And he went into analyzing for him that was approximately $9,000 a day. Am I right? No. Approximately $6,000 a day. 30 days, assuming a 30-day month. Right? Considering the cost of transportation from Buxton to somewhere of these bank, I think it was. His daily travel expense and so on came up to about $2,000. And he was being offered $6,000 a day approximately. As a welder. And so since he knew that working with himself, he could make far in excess of that on a daily basis, he did not go. And one of the striking things he said, when I said, wow, that is really cheap for a laborer, a tradesman in the oil industry. He said, you think the labor ministry, you think the labor people, they don't know? He said, the labor people, them know. But they're not doing anything to fix it. On one job alone, 2 or 3 hours, that guy made $10,000. Because, of course, on the free market, he called his fees. We negotiated. We agreed. He got paid. We've constantly had this battle, this argument, this quarrel, heard these pronouncements and complaints that in the local oil industry, well, the oil industry supports services, I call them, because everybody is not necessarily in oil. They're supporting those who are in oil, logistics and so on. You always heard these complaints that foreigners, migrants if you want to call them that, when they come to these shores to work with these companies, are paid far better wages and salaries than locals. They are treated way better than locals, even at the breakfast table, even in the lunchroom. We've heard several complaints of locals having to wait until foreign nationals are done eating before they can eat. In other words, they get the leftovers. You've continued to hear of extremely low pay compared to foreign nationals. Recently, we saw that big job fair in Trinidad. They promised an equivalent in Guyana. I have not seen it as yet. That big job fair in Trinidad advertising what I want to say, Guyanese job. Guyanese jobs in Trinidad. Your vacancies are things as common as a carpenter, welder, mason, maybe plumbers. And I say basic because I am sure that those are skills that are readily available in this country. But the Trinidadian company that operates here because of the local content law went to Trinidad to advertise those jobs. We saw the hundreds that turned out as a show of interest in those jobs. And from my recent readings and discourses, I learned that in the industry currently, if you're from Trinidad, you will get hired faster than you will if you're Guyanese. Because it is assumed that the Trinidadians who apply for these jobs have had more experience, practical and otherwise, in the oil industry, because Trinidad has been an oil producing nation for quite a while. And so jobs which ordinarily should be available to Guyanese as a first choice are being made available to Trinidadians and other foreign nationals. And even when Guyanese get similar jobs here, they are discriminated against because the wages are not on par with the foreign nationals. The Ministry of Labor is aware. Polori Joe Hamilton, this morning, where you at? What steps has your government taken to right this wrong? As a matter of fact, I dare argue that your government is not taking any steps to right the wrong, because your government is condoning the wrong. Your government, representatives of your government, are suggesting to the companies how much they should pay locals. So the labor market in Guyana for Guyanese is not necessarily a free market. You don't get the opportunity to bargain for your wages and salaries. It's take it or leave it. And as we can see, a lot of people are leaving it, because there are a large number of young people out there who remain unemployed, not because they're unskilled, But because they believe that the wages and salaries that they're being offered for the skills, the compensation, the reward for their skill is not commensurate. And so what we're having in this society currently is a large number of people who have skills, who have a willingness to work, but refuse to work because the industry conditions, the conditions of work, are not necessarily favorable to them. How do we right this wrong? How do we fix this? I use this platform only to highlight those things which I can highlight. And when I get off of this platform, I fix those things I can fix by assisting others. But I'm only one. I'm only an individual with a platform. The government has the resources. The government has the authority for policy making. And when you recognize your government is behaving in a way that is inimical to your growth and development, the responsibility then becomes yours to fix it. The responsibility then becomes yours to fix it. The question is, how do we fix it? Who should fix it? As we like to say, who bells the cat? Are we going to embrace the strategy which many of the young people are embracing? Withholding the labor, who me, I ain't working for them. I rather don't work. I rather become Don Stog. I rather motorcycle hustle. Because I could eat the food off a man. Is that working? I dare argue, give a lot of the young people out there who are motorcycle bandits, as we call them, and pedal bandits, as we call them, and pickpockets and so on, give them an alternative. A safer alternative. An alternative that promises their growth and development. They will take that alternative. So when you see them doing all of the wicked and devious things they're doing, the onus is on us in many instances to step back, analyze our policies and procedures, and adjust them so that we can fix the maladies, we can fix the craziness in our society. But we don't have a government. We don't have a Minister of Social Security who even has an inkling of what her job is, much less to have an interest in addressing these issues which are affecting especially the young in our society. So the question is, how do you fix it? Do you withhold your labor? The youngsters are withholding their labor for the greater part, because they're refusing to work for the starvation wages. But is that working? Is it likely to work? We hear of your president and vice president consistently and continuously talking about importing labor. And so if they have an option to import labor, then why would they even be concerned about the young people withholding their labor in this Guyanese society? As a matter of fact, the withholding of that labor in the Guyanese society by the Guyanese youths might very well be the opening that they want, so that they can bring the people they want to populate the workplaces, and perhaps to create job vote factories, as many of us suggest this current PPP strategy is about. Question still is, how do we fix that? Many of us underestimate the power of youth. And so instead of embracing youth as old heads, we watch them with disdain and we say, them they say they're good for nothing, them is the generation of vipers. We passed the generation of vipers? Have we? Or are we still in the generation of vipers? Because since I was a youngster, I was hearing of the generation of vipers. I guess I had fallen in that generation at some point in time. But I think one of the ways forward is to embrace young people, reach them where they are, engage them first and foremost on the issues that affect them, the issues that they have an interest in. Try to work with them to craft solutions to those issues. And along the way, make the political connection. Because as political beings, I will tell you, there ain't no person who has political interest or interest in political office that will just go and work with somebody and not try to make that political connection. And so I'm challenging us to go there on the grounds, work with young people, address their issues, and at the same time address the political issues, so that they can become more aware, if they're not aware, because quite a few of them are quite aware of what's happening. I think there is hope. Not only hope for the young people, but hope of changing this government, removing this government, and replacing them with a government that is more accountable to the people, a government that has maybe more patriotism running through the corridors of power, a government that will not encourage foreign nationals to come and discriminate against locals in terms of wages and salaries and conditions of work, a government that will invest in young people and their development, a government that will use the resources of the country to invest in the growth and development of every citizen, not because of race, color, or creed, but for the simple reason that we are all Guyanese. I know a lot of you saw the Brian Max tapes, which suggests that Guyana gets what, $10 million a day from oil production, but Guyanese are getting zilch. Have you really sat back and thought deeply about that statement? Has any of us done the research to see whether or not it's true? I think with oil production and the levels of oil production, our monies are in that region. When we look at the national drawdown on a monthly basis, I think last week I gave you some information on what was drawn down when. You ask yourself, why is it we are not enjoying a better quality of life? Why is it? Why is it we have a government that continues to tell us or convince us that they broke? And they can't do better for public servants. They can't do better for the average citizen of the country. And it is alleged that in certain sections of the country, the vice president is moving around with duffel bags of money and sharing out to supporters of the PPP. My information is that over the last weekend he was in Borbis. Quite frankly, they're still in Borbis. I think last night they started the Diwali Janasta or something. I can't remember the exact name. Launching of the Diwali celebrations in Region 6. The people in the vicinity of that recreational park there are crying foul. They're begging for a little peace. And it is 5 days of disturbance, 5 days of noise nuisance. So why are we convinced, or we allowing these folks to convince us that they can do better? We can get more. Just over the weekend again, I read where the government of Ghana made another draw on the consolidated fund, the National Resources Fund. Made a draw on it to transfer, I think, hundreds of billions of dollars, man, into the consolidated fund. To do what? I guess we have to wait and see, because there is no such transparency to tell us exactly what this government is doing with this money. We don't even know where it's going. We only see it being withdrawn. And then you hear, for example, Jack Dio telling Buxtonians that this money that is coming from the NRF is being used to give student grants and was used to increase and sustain payments to old age pensioners. Because prior to the PPP in government, they weren't getting anything. Jack Bill's words. And people sat there quietly, not only in Buxton, but across the country, wherever Jack Gill went and talked this nonsense, and did not challenge him. I'm not seeing a narrative that questions the facts of those things that Jack Gill has been saying recently. And I know for a fact that even prior to oil resources, old age pensioners had their pensions increased. According to them, the students were getting nothing. But we know of the boats, books, boots, bicycles, and all the many bees, breakfast and everything that they were getting. But they equate that to nothing. And is around the place championing a $40,000 grant as the best that students can get from the oil resources. And championing, in my mind, that the oil resources can only afford what is being given to old age pensioners and what is being given to students. It can't afford anything else to the rest of the society. Can't. And we have allowed them to convince us of that. We are going about our merry ways. We're in November. Today is November what? 8. I guarantee you by the 15th of November, the streets of Georgetown will be filled. Especially Regent Street. Have you recognized an increase in foot and other traffic around the city? Because it's November. It's Christmas. And regardless of how badly they treat us financially throughout the year, we are going to populate the stores. And we're going to go and shop in sprees. And we will come back into our communities and we will put up our shiny blinds, curtains. Even if we bought them from the Chinese store. And we're going to have a jolly Merry Christmas. With whatever little we can find. But these fat hogs will have the best of all times. With the resources that they are stealing from the nation. But we are contented with that. We will be quite satisfied with that. And we will hear that we have a nation to defend. We have borders to defend. We must unite as a people to defend the borders and to defend the nation. But we must not benefit as a people or as a nation from the resources available to the nation. Right? That's what we're faced with. That is what we're faced with. Pensioners will continue to wonder if they're going to get their $50,000 as promised. Yeah, you can get it. It's election year. But when again you can get something? That's the question. When again will you get something after the elections? I think we as a nation, we as a people, we have allowed and continue to allow the people who are supposed to work for us to work against us. And they can continue, will continue until such time that we as a people decide we will stand. Yesterday we had that most informative discussion of how to own an oil block. As an Afro-Guyanese, despite the fact that you have Nigerian heritage, despite the fact that you ain't got 1 ounce of Guyanese in you because you ain't born, you ain't the child of anybody that is Guyanese, you perhaps got citizenship by association. We were able to have a deep look into the webs of corruption, the lengths to which people will go in this country to corrupt and to steal, to plunder the resources of this country. But I'm sure we went to bed comfortable last night. We slept well. We awoke and we tuned in to see where's the next scandal in Guyana. I don't think any of us has determined in our mind that we should stop the PPP government before they get to the next scandal. I posted yesterday because it came into my inbox, I think. Rav Gonzalez in Africa. You know where in Africa? Nigeria. He went to see King Oba or King whoever in Nigeria. think it's just Ralph ain't got nothing to do. Why he went to Nigeria? I've got business to deal with in Nigeria. I think it was touted as a state visit. So Ralph is using his nation's resources to get about his business of corrupting the world. Likewise, we got our folks here using our resources to get about their business of corrupting the world. But we are sleeping comfortable at nights. Why shouldn't we? The lines are opened. 6225933 is the number to call. What can you do to contribute to changing the status quo in this country? What can you do to contribute to removing the PPP from office? What can you do to ensure more accountable and transparent governance? Those are some of the questions I want answered this morning. The lines are opened. I saw an early voice note. I'll play it. I don't know what it was about, but let's see.
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. Guyana's biggest enemy is the PPP. And only force can get them out from there. No election or nothing else can get them out from there. Only force.
Call your life, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, to all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Help is on the way. You know, let me say these words first before I go what I want to say. I don't care what damn you qualified to be the next Prime Minister of Guyana. Let me move on this morning. You know, I was waiting for Mr. David for asking him this question. Can you hear me?
Yes, caller.
Okay, good. And this was one of the questions. Why taking so long? And what is the problem that WPA and PNC is not coming out? And let the voters them know that we are coalition from today. So the boots on the ground could start. There was one question, why? And the next question, which part of the program, why WPA and PNC don't come together and keep a youth rally and let the youth them know help is on the way, that we will do our best, but you guys have to do the rest. Get your voting card ready and ready to go and vote. In every region, you guys must keep a youth rally and bring them youth together. Bring them youth together because they are straining and they might even go away because of pressure from the government. If PNC don't want to do it, it's no excuse. WPA can do it. Could keep a youth rally. You guys could know the age from 1 to if it's 20, 25 or 30 what. Because I look at that tape with that boy James Bond walking with Jack Josu and Anil that stole the law books, laughing and them are using him for gather up the youths for come next election. That is fine print. Every cow does cry them own calf. Remember what the Prime Minister come and tell our president in his country from Trinidad, fine print. He was protecting jobs there for his people them. When he tell the president who more higher than him for step down and step down with dignity, there would always be a next election. That means walk away and let the Indians them rule. So he and people them could get the contract and he could help his citizens them to get job for take care of them family back in them country. These are the things that why I just blame. But people don't want to look back and start from number one. Guyanese counted from 2. Any country you go, it always get protests for jobs to people. If I can't get job in my country, the foreigners them could be unable to get jobs. When we was coming to America back in the 70s and 60s, the black American used to say, go back to your country, your banana boat. You have to take away our job. They used to call immigrants on us. Health skelter. Who know this? They say the black American used to call immigration on us, and immigration used to come get us and send us back to our country. Why Guyanese not doing the same thing? What they are waiting for Abi Norton to go, to do that, is the Guyanese people have to do that. If I can eat, you can eat. Thank you very much for your time.
Call it, don't go flash. Somebody has a word of advice here. I think the name here is Michael George. He said you should tell Arby Norton or ask Arby Norton that same question that you're asking me.
What question?
Why the WPA and PNC has not so far come out and pledged unity or coalesce and so on and so forth. You ever hear this story?
Boy.
You know, I know you're a bad sweet man, but you ever hear in all your hustling days and thing that says now who like you is who you like?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Flash Garden know that.
All right, Flash. Have a good day.
No, wait.
Go ahead.
You want one?
Go ahead.
You all cans are warm. Because I did not want to pick up more time. Because I was coming to for Bombay's, my leader, Abi Norton. Tough love. What good for the goose is good for the gander. And if he could find time to go and sit down on March show, he should have find time to come and sit down on our show, on your show. Because the things them that Mark allow and talk against him and encourage his people to come and talk about him, you never allow us to come and disrespect Abi Norton. And there's no excuse why Abi Norton could not come on your show yet. Well, good for the goose is good for the gander. That is my mother tell me plain. If she got to crawl and go and vote for him, she going, no nobody else. And I hold him responsible that he not come on your show yet. Thank you very much for this time.
Thank you very much for your call. Old people say if you run for me, make a stink for you. Is that what they said? If you run for me, make a stink for you. I'll tell y'all something. Sometimes I am very, very, very cautious of my utterances because I don't want people to get the impression that I'm out to hurt anybody's chances of success or anybody's image in the public eye and so on and so forth. So I am usually very cautious when I have to address certain issues. But we, in this hour, in this season, as a people, have to fight too many fights. We have to fight too many fights. You see the Venezuela-Guyana situation? The Venezuela-Guyana situation? I maintain that I don't have to fight Venezuela, I got to fight the PPP. But people are saying, listen, we have to defend our nation. But where do you find the energy, or where should you find the energy? And why should you have to expend so much energy to fight the injustices within your country as a citizen and fight external threats? It becomes easier
way easier to galvanize the fight, or galvanize a country to fight, citizens of a country to fight external threats, if they don't have internal threats to fight against. And so for the greater part, the African Guyanese and ordinary working poor got some serious internal threats they got to fight in this country. They have to fight the threats of oppression, economic oppression. In instances of African Guyanese, they got to fight the threats of economic oppression and racism, racial discrimination. And then you got to find the energy to fight external threats. The same thing goes for local politics. As an opposition activist, you got to fight other opposition activists. Because the first thing they see, he is WPA. I am PNC, I am AFC, I am TUF, I'm this, I'm that. And so he has to be an enemy. We have to fight him. We have to distrust him. And then we still have to fight the common enemy. That is one of the bugbears of this local political thing. I'm sure it obtains across the world. But I'm saying, I've been saying since 2020 or prior to that, opposition unity is what is necessary to remove the PPP. And until certain people can put their egos aside and embrace that reality, we got no place to go. No place to go. People are concerned with, if we form a grand coalition, how many seats we can get for our people. The very people in the party are concerned with, I wonder if there will be space for me. And since they tell themselves there will not be space for them because they're maybe better suitable, more suitable persons outside to fill positions that they perhaps had their eyes on and so on, they believe that is good enough to scuttle any attempts at unity. Because if I can't get it, you can't get it. You know the story of the dog in the manger? Caller, you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning, everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. Good morning, all Guyanese. Yesterday or recently, we saw in the parliament, the day before yesterday, that the executive branch was willing to meet with the opposition branch in what's termed as an extraordinary sitting. Now that's admirable. We admire that. That's really good. But here is what I want the scholars to remember. Scholars such like Dr. HINDS, scholars such as Vincent Alexander and Hamilton Green, and Gail Teixeira, Roxanne George, and the Chancellor, the CARICOM Oversight Committee, all those intellectuals at UG, union leaders such as Lincoln Lewis and Patrick Yard, and the different unions across Guyana, preachers, educational and religious fraternity, the Masons, the Lodge, and the school children. I want you all to pay attention to one thing, one takeaway from this extraordinary sitting. How all of a sudden are they willing to meet on this sitting, but they were never willing to meet even after we voted for them? That's a question that we must ponder. Even after the courts said that certain things should be expedited. They never met. That shows that the political parties of Guyana, particularly the PPP, doesn't care about unions, doesn't care about churches, doesn't care about the goodwill and the well-being of Guyanese, doesn't care about democracy, doesn't care about the process that flows from bipartisanship. They don't care about that. And that's the greatest takeaway from all of this. And I want this to trickle down through the entire society. I don't want us to blow over. This is tantamount to say that you're a Christian, but you hate the church. This is tantamount to say that you're a Muslim, but you hate the prophet. This is tantamount to saying that you are a Democrat and you're a democracy, but you hate democratic processes such as accountability and transparency. The PPP said that they are for Guyanese, one Guyana. If the PPP was really for one Guyana, they would not have waited until this singular moment to unite after we have voted for them. We voted so that you will meet in a bipartisan way, as you are attempting to meet now in Parliament. But you should have been doing that 3 years ago. Why didn't you? Because you don't really give a damn. And this is the evidence. You don't really give a damn. You only care about your individual oneness of interest. And it shows. And I just don't want it to blow over where Guyanese don't recognize it and call the PPP on it now. It's a huge moment. It's a historical moment. It's a moment that should be taught in academics, and it's a moment where the courts should sit up straight and say, look at that. That is irrefutable evidence that the PPP never give a damn, don't give a damn. And the way they're shucking and jiving and try to shortchange this, the outcome of this sitting, looks like they will continue to do business as usual. Comrade Norton has to say to the public, how come you wanted to meet yesterday, but you don't want to meet today? You don't want to meet tomorrow. So, Comrade Norton will have to deal with the outcome. Because if he is willing to meet with them as he did, let's see if they are willing to reciprocate the same sincerity. Are they willing to sustain that sincerity, Comrade Norton? The verdict is still out. We'll see if the meeting that you did was in vain or not. We'll see what the outcome of this will be. Yes, we had the meeting already, but there's another part to this. Will the PPP sustain this bipartisan sincerity and reaching across the aisle on the budget issue? Particularly on the budget appropriation issue. Will they meet with the same sincerity? Question is, isn't the budget issue as important as the border issue? That's what PPP must answer. That's what Mansour Nadir, Speaker of the Parliament, must sit up straight and demand. If he is Speaker in the House, let's see his hypocrisy. Because clearly, he was for bipartisanship on this extraordinary meeting. You heard the applause? Everybody was applauding. They were applauding for Burnham, they were applauding for Jagan, they were applauding for PNC, they're applauding for PPP. Why can't we applaud and support these same issues at the next budget allocation and subcommittee discussions. If we don't, then you know the verdict will be clear that you don't really care. Right? You don't really care. And people need to say that. How come you cared yesterday, but you don't care today or tomorrow? I want the CCJ, I want, because I'm putting this out there, so people can raise the question to their colleagues in CARICOM, in the CARICOM Oversight Committee, because CARICOM has an oversight for these purposes. What good is oversight if oversight can't illuminate these issues? What are we overseeing? Right? And lastly, for the Guyana Bar Association, the legal fraternity, I would like them to also sit up straight and pay attention to the contradictions which will flow from this. Because how the PPP acts and APNU reciprocates going forward will affect how justice is facilitated, how agencies will facilitate good governance. Good governance will flow from how the PPP reaches across the aisle to APNU going forward. And if that doesn't happen, then the poison which flows from that is what we must address. The reluctancy which flows from that is what we must address and juxtapose it to the willingness that was encouraged in the extraordinary sitting. If we care then, we should care now. And we should call the government on it. And I dare say that the Guyana Bar Association or Roysdale Ford can see a trend. Let's wait and see. That if we were willing to meet in the parliament on certain issues, and we aren't willing to meet on other issues, then maybe this is a matter for the courts. This is a clear matter for the courts to show indifference, deliberate indifference. Nothing beats a failure but a try. Once again, thank you for accepting the call.
Thank you for calling. You know, I like to recognize when people jump to the front of the class to defend their favorite politicians. It's a nice thing to do. Shows loyalty. But when will we demand more from our favorite politicians? Huh? When will we demand more from our favorite politicians? I see somebody say, are we going on Politics 101 this evening? So rest yourself, Flash. Tell Flash to chill. Nice. At least we're going to get to hear from Arby on Politics 101 this evening. But I've said it before and I've come to recognize, and I'm going to repeat it. We have a set of political actors in this country who are doing just enough to say that they're doing. We're going to get all of the niceties, all of the expectations met on Politics 101 this evening. Or any other program that Orby will go on. Or any other program that Roysdale or any other politician will go on. We are going to hear a lot of song bites. There are going to be a lot of pull quotes the next day. Like they were from the parliamentary sitting. What we need to see at this point in time is the action to back up those platitudes, those niceties. that narrative. Are we going on a platform that is perceived as, let me call it an opposition platform, opposition in this sense that Orbi is PNC, David Hines is WP, they are on opposite sides of the aisle, if you want to call it, in the opposition benches. I'm trying to put this in the right sense. Right? Okay, are we going on the platform of a fellow opposition activist? Does not necessarily mean that there is opposition unity. David Hines going on the platform of a fellow opposition activist does not necessarily mean that there is opposition unity. The actions, when it comes to, as I would say, the bigger and more meaningful things, is what will make the differentiation. Everybody is asking why there is no declaration of unity among the opposition parties. Why are we not seeing joint actions by the opposition parties? Because as far as I'm concerned, nobody trusts anybody. Everybody wants to defend their territory, assuming they got one. And that can't be good for us. Caller, thank you for holding your life.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Now everybody is jumping up on the sun, meeting that they had across the aisle. You know, I may be the odd one out. When we were in power, when PNC were in power, both leaders, President Bernard and President Granger, when Venezuela started to act up, did things to bring Venezuela to. But when the PPP going, they encourage Venezuela to be the aggressor. Because if we go back to our speech that is making the rounds now with President Burnham talking to the Venezuelans, you saw that he had his foot on everything. And then when the Venezuelans started up again, when President Granger was there, after the announcement of the oil and the finding of the oil and Venezuela started, everybody, many PPP people would call into many programs and write up things to talk about the 18 billion or $18 million that was given for the signing contract of Exxon. When President Granger got that money and he saw what was going on, he decided this money, and I think Exxon too said, this money, if I'm mistaken, you could tear it up, must be used in a case with Venezuela. And I think it ended up at the ICJ or wherever. And they had this money to aid them in the problem with Venezuela. That many people claim that Minister Jordan took that money and pocketed it. Like how they're taking all the monies what they could get and pocket it. Now with the meeting, if you listen to this, they go through again another thing making the rounds where Barra Jagio gave permission to Venezuela to get some way to go to the ocean. Now, if you look at the continental shelves, that is the coastal belt of Venezuela, and you look at the coastal belt of Guyana, Venezuela has a bigger coastal belt jetting out into the Atlantic. So there was no need for Barra Jagdio to take from our little land to give to Venezuela. And I still say to myself, and I say to anybody, Barrett has created this problem with Venezuela. Barrett, they got a lot of military fitters, or whatever you call it. Sheriff who say this. If you see, they got a big one right by the Venezuelan embassy. All these military fits with lots of big weaponry. And I think that there is where the opposition should have allowed, because it had a problem with somebody. And I think the richest of the rich in Guyana, who is being investigated by Reuters, said that they got the people and they could put their intelligence to be doing crime for Guyana. So they really got no need for the police to do crime. Now all these big boys who got all these big military operations, they should take them to the border. Now you got the Venezuelans giving them birth certificate. That is the only place I know you come to another man country and I giving you birth certificate. I know you go outside, you're going to get citizenship, you maintain your birth certificate. Because once you born at this in Guyana, 14 days your parents got to go, put down a name and register your birth. After 14 days, it's problem. So I don't know how now Guyana registering births of 50 and 60-year-old people was said at the ban from Guyanese parentage. That should be a no-no. All right, you give them birth certificate. They have become Guyanese. Take those same new Guyanese who you get and put them to face who they live with. They will be able to speak Spanish. They will be able to converse with the people because they are one. They only get the birth certificate so that they could vote. And I think that the opposition, it is time that the opposition behave as an opposition and stop allowing the installed regime to use them like a kickabout. Midwives know what's a kickabout. A kickabout is a ball and wheels in the labor room. And you throw all the swabs, you throw pads, you throw all what you don't want. The like whatever could go in there, that is a kickabout. And the PPP has the opposition as a kickabout. I like now they want to show that they got unity with the party because they need people to go and kill themselves at the border. Them ain't gonna go and kill themselves, you know. Granger, neither Norton, as it was called, or Barnum. In Magdobar, in Venezuela, you know, the body who give concessions to the Venezuelans is Barra Jabdio. Now they go, they said that the GDF was full of a lot of African black people. So they get this new, they kick out the rest of brigadier and they put their type of people brigadier. Why he don't get his people and carry them to the war? No, they ain't gonna go. When was COVID and the Africans in the thing, they started reneging to take the poison in the system. They had segregation in the ranks. Now it's time for them to have segregation in the ranks and take the best of the lot and take them to the border. The thing at the border, the Africans or the black people in the government of Guyana never allow that problem with Venezuela to get to where it is. We never, Norton, Granger, neither President Barnum gave the Venezuelan that authority what Barrett gave to them. Imagine a Venezuelan gonna come and talk and we radio station to say that the PPP like them, but is happening, we don't like them. That is real life pass. And when you see the opposition goes to parliament on those matters everybody will talk down the leader of the opposition. Certain things with all the might say, oh, it's a country problem. Let them go and fight their battles. They create the story. We ain't create nothing. They have created Venezuela, you know. Not no black man in create Venezuela. Because we know what is war. And no good soldier likes a war. You know why? Because when I go to war, if facing me is my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter, my niece, my nephew, I got to study as a soldier. Who going home in the body bag or the drape casket, and who carrying the body? So a good soldier never like a war because there is casualties. Now look the onslaught that Barrett has created. Look the onslaught, and who now they don't want to see the opposition for nothing. In France, he can't talk because thing ain't gonna shake his hand, but he shake a man's hand. So he tell himself he good because they need to use the opposition. We now see common ground with the opposition. Because when the opposition come, when nothing come, a man to shake me hand, they're going to go and talk to the members of the party who them to just call lazy black man. Don't give them no work. Hungry bellies now must go and face the border for take bullet for them. Well, I hope the hungry bellies stay with the hungry belly away from the war and let them go and quench the fire for the startup in Venezuela. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Voice note.
Morning to that morning viewers.
You sound like a whisper note. Call over the line.
Personally, I wasn't impressed with the whole special sitting on Venezuela. I think this was all Jadio's doing and a distraction. What do you think he's thinking? At least I see it as he knows PNC people going to go into the Burnham archive. They're going to reread laws and speeches from Burnham. But yet they can't come out and do the same thing for the youth and help them with jobs and put this at the forefront. All those things are in the archives. They're not lost. We know they're there. We knew what Burnham's stance was with Venezuela. So I totally agree with you in what you're saying, that you don't give a damn. Because that is not the most important issue affecting Guyanese right now. And this is why our young kids are saying to hell with the politics. Because if one thing I know Black man love to do is stand up and speak and you know, let everybody know they got big words in their mouth. Them things are long gone. They are long gone. Y'all get a life. Get in touch with your people.
Thank you for that voice note. Call it your life.
Yeah, good morning, Brother Kidaki, and good morning to the rest of Guyana. Good morning to Guyanese diaspora. Sound like up here. Yes, so I love you so much, Sister Rhonda. You're such a sweet person. I love your presentation. Most of the times I do. But this morning you get me floating, man. Yes, Brother Kidaki. My contribution to the program this morning is clear, as I always do. I am calling on the Guyanese people, the people of Guyana, to recognize that they have an urgency. We are in a national crisis. We are in a national state of urgency. And I'm warning, I'm pleased, I'm begging on the people of Guyana to get out there, stand up and ask for questions. Brother Kedaki, I'm ready to join on with you to do whatever it takes to bring the people onto the streets of Georgetown or Guyana. To bring the people out. People must come out. We must come out. We must act now. Don't wait on Barrett Jagdio or Irfan Ali or Aubrey Norton. It is an urgency. Let me make it clear to you, my fellow Guyanese, that what is facing us here today is of such importance that if we do not act now, years to come, we will regret it. Now, as you know, in Venezuela, we have a very serious situation where people can hardly get to eat. People could hardly get one meal a day. People eating out a garbage can. And this come about by a dictator they call Nicolas Maduro. It is the reason why these Venezuelans have fled to this country, and not only this country, they gone to Peru, Ecuador, El Salvador, Colombia, Brazil, all over. Over 6 million people have run from that country because of starvation and suffering. And now they recognize before that the Essequibo that Guyana possess is of so much value, and they can get to eat, they can get to survive off of Essequibo. They come in and snatch it out of your hand, Guyanese people. They come and taking it out of your hand. They want it. And let me warn you, because most of the revenue coming to Guyana comes from Essequibo. And I'm saying to you this morning, I don't know how to express my real feeling. If Essequibo is to go, Guyanese people, you're going to suffer like dogs. Because already we are suffering and we cannot help to feed not even 800,000 people. And most of the revenue that we earn from gold and diamond and so on comes from Essequibo. What does Maurice has? What does Demerara has? And if Essequibo should go tomorrow, tell me what we can depend from Georgetown, from Region 4 and Region 6. Essequibo is 61,583 square miles. 3/4 of the interior region of Guyana, and you're sitting on all your backside? You're sitting and not seeing what's going on? The government is not saying, did Ali or Aubrey make a statement to inform the Guyanese people exactly what is going on? Every in this survey, an ordinary citizen, people knows me, they know I'm associated with the system. And then when I see people on the street, look right now, I don't even want to go. When they see you on the road, they will ask you, hey man, what going on? What really happening? You understand? And I have to be at home. You understand what I'm saying? I'm shameful go there. So it's when we going take to the street, stand, demand answers. When you hear a criminal gun, do not despair, do not fear. Now is the time to fight for Guyana if you never had before. And let me tell you something. This is not about Korean black man. This is not about race. It's about the survival of the identity of the Guyanese people. You understand what I'm saying? Let us get serious. Let us build upon the words and the struggle and the fight of the two founder leaders of this nation, Dr. Jagan and Forbes Warner. I always idolize these two men. Let us research their work and let us build upon what they taught us and get out here. Look, I will be glad to be at the front line tomorrow if I hear 10,000 people on the streets of Georgetown. Because the government is not giving you an answer. What are you waiting for? To wake up one morning and know that you got to live with drinking sugar water for the rest of your life? Or you gone back to the days suffering? And these people, Indian, black Chinese, let us band together and get out there, take to the streets. Kedaki, I don't know in your position if you're ready to back me on this, the WPA position. But this should be a citizens' uprising. The citizens should take to the streets. We need answers. Okay? Well, Kedaki. So thank you for affording me the time. And Guyanese people, once again, stay focused. Stay focused. It's time for rise up. It's time for ask a question. Do not allow this situation to pass, because if it's equitable, you could say goodbye, Guyana. I can be at a better place in a better country at this time, but I choose to stay here. But if I see the Chinese people demand me in business, I can. Thank you very much, Kedaki.
Thank you for your call.
All right.
I'm doing my part. I provided a platform so that this caller can tell you all what he thinks should be done. But I got some questions to ask you. I'll call Holy Line. They got starvation and oppression in Venezuela. Is it absent from Guyana? The caller is afraid we go back to the days of starvation in Guyana. Aren't we there yet? Y'all take time and walk the streets of this country and going to places where the average poor lives and tell me about starvation and oppression and suffering. A country that is flush with oil money. Before the chaos that was created in Venezuela. Note I said the chaos that was created in Venezuela. Were Venezuelans living the way we are living? Were Venezuelans treated the way we are being treated? This is my week of unpopular opinions. Got to be, because I'm going to give it to you as I see it. The enemy to the well-being of Guyanese right now, I maintain, is not the Venezuelans. It is the PPP. Let us address that elephant in the room, and then we're going to fix the Venezuelans or the Venezuelan situation. Call A Live, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki, and good morning to the viewers. Thank you very much for making that statement. You're a very good observer. You're not some of those who are subjected or illiterate to the fact. Your eyes are not covered with the wool. Guyanese must be conscious of what's going on. Okay, we have an issue with Venezuela. Who caused that issue? I am certain you ask the average Guyanese, black man, African man, what do you think, or what's your opinion about the Venezuelan issue? I am certain they will tell you, let the Venezuelans take it. They don't care. Take them back to the streets, and they will tell you, let them take it. Why? Why do you think they will say that? Because I'm not benefiting from nothing from Essequibo. Let them take it. Are you benefiting from the patrimony of what Essequibo is producing? No, you're not. The average Guyanese, black man, African man, they're not benefiting. Let the Venezuelans take Essequibo. You guys should not be in those streets representing a racist government. That's not your place. Let them get the army, the people who they drag off the street who was dismissed dishonorably, the black clothes, the blue jacket, Let them get them to go to the border with their supporters, the people who they shout money, the patrimony of the Guyanese people. Let them go and buy guns, import guns, and give it to them. Send them to the border. The average black man shouldn't be coming on this air and talking about representing Essequibo. For what? For what? It is yours. It is supposed to be yours. But are you benefiting? Why you support? Why you taking all the blame for the government? That's not your place. Your place is to find out every month now, right now, every month, because the Indian supporters are talking about it. Who have friends know the government is distributing funds to its supporters unknown to the Guyanese people. This is happening right now. Why the hell you saying you're going to support the government in defending Essequibo? For what? Let them take it. Because you don't benefit from it. Monies are coming in, millions of dollars every day. What have you seen from it? The average black man, what have you seen? If you're enjoying a gang to go and attack people, you can't get nothing. If you're being on the bad side, you can't get nothing. What the hell you going defending the government for Essequibo? Ask the average black man in Guyana, what do you think about Essequibo? They'll tell you, let them take it, I don't care. Let them take it. We have enough people who just taking up pictures with AK-47. We have plenty of them. Send them there. They're getting enough money. Enough. Billions of dollars that the banks, the certain banks in Guyana, are in cahoots. Let them go buy guns. They started already. The big ship was coming to Guyana with all the AK-47. Let them buy it. Distribute it to the people in Essequibo. They're going to defend it. Georgetown people, you better don't come in this area talking about defending Essequibo. You better don't do it. It's a picture of what Guyana is supposed to be. But you can't defend it because you don't have the power. And there's nothing there for you. Not a shit. Thank you, Mr. Kadaki. Have a good day.
Thank you for your call. I see our frequent viewer and commenter is saying that there is opposition unity in the parliament. Is there? You have to forget the party that Schumann represents? Or you have to forget the representatives of the joiner list? Are they on the side of the opposition? Or they sit with the PPP and they join with the PPP when it comes to votes? Yeah, I don't think you are pulling wool over my eyes this morning, you know. Because I'm a keen observer, like somebody said. I know what I look at and I know what I see. There might be a semblance of opposition unity in the parliament. But is there really opposition unity in the parliament? Vice Note.
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. I decided to listen a little bit this morning before I speak. So, I want to know what was derived from the unanimous shenanigans in Parliament. Now, the opposition applauded.
What happened there?
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. When I saw those videos...
Oh, that one was deleted. I don't know why. Change your thoughts. Let's go. Another one.
Kadaki, you see the police shoot a black man running away from them in the back. Say he's a thief. I wonder if they're gonna shoot them Venezuelan in the back and the teeth and they're running away like that.
I don't know. I haven't seen that story. I will look for it after the program so I can update my data. I will know what the call is talking about. I seriously don't know what it is.
Good morning, Kadaki. To Mr. Coffee. Yes, Mr. Coffee, you're a bright guy. But do you expect the government, the PPP, to work the way that you are proposing there? No. The PPP, when the parliament, the MPs and Mr. Norton went into parliament there the last few days, everybody went on one accord. There were no opposition there. So they had to clap. But whatsoever Mr. Norton opposed before he went in there, he opposed after he left there that day, on other circumstances. But on that particular reason that he was in Parliament, everybody had to clap because they went for one purpose. There was no opposition to what they went there to discuss. If you name me one country that operate the way you are talking about, what do you think the meaning of opposition meant? The meaning of opposition, right? To oppose things, to oppose wrongdoings. So you wouldn't find the PPP to work one in accord with the opposition. It wouldn't happen. Bye.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 622-5923 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. It's 18 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. We have more voice notes to you. Congo Creole! Voice note.
You gotta have African proverb. Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. You gotta have African proverb that says, when a boat have a hole in the middle of the sea and you don't come together in that boat to stop that hole from leaking, everyone is going to drown. I don't know if you understand what that meaning is. It's just like in Guyana. If people don't come together to do what is right or to stop what is going on, everybody's going to go down. And that is my what I have to say.
The question I want to ask you viewers on this voice note is, who's the hole in the Guyana boat? Or what has created a hole in the Guyana boat? Right? First, you gotta recognize the hole before you could patch them. I'm being very honest with you. You gotta recognize the hole before you could patch it. When we identify the hole, then we're gonna talk about patching it. I know where the hole is. I don't know why you're looking at Venezuela for the hole. The hole there at Rob Street.
Hey, Mr. Kadaki Armstrong. Good day to you and good day to all the listeners. Good show, very informative as usual. I couldn't agree with the lady that called and says we black folks should not worry about Essequibo. I couldn't agree with her more. I was sitting there as she was talking. I was like, yes, somebody probably see and feel exactly the way I feel. Now, I'm a Guyanese, and I gotta tell you, we don't want to give up anything, but what are we gaining from it? What are we gaining from it? Black folks are being literally making a fool in Guyana. Literally making a fool. Like the lady says, if we're not down for evil, we're not getting anything. That's what they're using us for. Let the PPP and all his friends, family, and favorite, let them go fight for Essequibo. Let them go fight for Essequibo. Jack Dio already wanted to give away Essequibo. So maybe this will work in his favor. Let them go fight. I couldn't agree with that lady more. Any black person who think that Essequibo is our problem, we got bigger problem than Essequibo. We got these demons. They just draw billions of dollars from the fund. Billions of dollars. These are, I don't hear this in the news. Are that money is getting anyway in any black folks' pocket? No, we're not getting anything. We got bigger problems than Essequibo. Right? Way bigger problems than Essequibo. So I'm on the side with that lady that called and says, we don't care about Essequibo. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. We are basically begging for stuff in Guyana. And then we worry about Essequibo. Let the PPP and his friends, family, and favorite, the government, the black clothes, all of them, let them go fight for Essequibo. They're getting the money. Let them go put their life on the line. Whether Essequibo, whether Venezuela take Essequibo or that's not going to even make us better as black folks in Guyana. So I agree with the lady 100%, man. We worry about, we got bigger problems to worry about than Essequibo. I don't even care if they take Essequibo tomorrow.
Voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. I would like to ask if you...
Callers, could you give me 5 minutes to play these voice notes and then we'll open back the lines? Please and thank you.
Questions this morning, and I hope that at some stage one of the persons who have these, I don't like to call it shows, these programs, will ask the opposition leader these questions. For my curiosity, I would like to know what was derived from the unanimous shenanigans in Parliament. Because for one, I heard about more education, but how it will be done, I haven't heard anything about that. I'm also curious to know whether the opposition MPs have a plan in place to assist in the education of the Guyanese nation, especially the young people, about the border controversy. The second thing I would like to know is if the immigration policies will be tweaked, or rather I should say, what are the immigration policies that are facilitating the influx of Venezuelans at this time, and how it is going to be adjusted to control the influx of Venezuelans in our country. The third thing I would like to know, and I'm going to cite an instance at this time. One night I was in Oistins, and there were some Indian Guyanese who are behaving as though they think they were at home in terms of being boisterous and all of that, right? Now, they got out of hand, and a Barbadian policeman approached them and was cautioning them, and they started to behave as though they think that the Bajan police is like some of the Guyanese police. The Barbadian policeman asked them this question: why would you come to Barbados and disrespect a Barbadian policeman? In the same vein, I'm asking, how could a Venezuelan, whatever he was promised, get on social media and disrespect the opposition leader, the members of parliament of the opposition, and all persons who are supporters of the opposition? I would like to ask, why would he get such spunks in Guyanese vernacular to do something like that? And I would like to ask why the opposition leader has not responded to that disrespect. He's the leader, and he should do something about that. You know, I am not going to harp on the uses of Spanish because I already said what I think about that, right? But if he doesn't want to do it, find somebody to do it. Address the people generally and send them a message that the impression they have about the opposition and its supporters is not correct. He can do that. So again, I ask in the question, when will the opposition leader address the disrespect meted out to APNU, the MPs of APNU, and the followers of APNU? It's rubbed me the wrong way, and therefore I'm asking the question. I'm not sure, well, I shouldn't say I'm not sure. I'm sure that Kadaki can't answer the question, but perhaps Kadaki and all the other persons who have these programs, one of them could ask Mr. Norton when he's going to address that disrespect by a Venezuelan to our people, because it's not only to the opposition leader, but by extension to a certain section of the Guyanese nation, right? So this one really got me riled up, and I would like somebody to ask Mr. Norton that question. Thank you. Yes, I agree that at some stage there has to be enforcement on the border, right? But all these people from Sheriff, all these people who they calling us hungry belly dogs, monkeys, black monkeys, and all of them, where are they now? Where are they? But they expect a certain section of Guyana will go now to defend the people of Guyana. How does it look now? How now, brown cow, as we would say? And as it pertains to Mr. Norton being on Mr. Dr. Hines' show this evening, I will tune in to listen, because if there's an open forum, I will ask this very question that I just asked on your program, Kadaki.
It's 7 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I have to take my leave of you, even though I didn't intend to, but I have to. There's something I have to deal with urgently, and I have to just go and deal with that. So you can't take any more calls. But I will say thank you for your participation this morning. Tomorrow is Thursday. It's strictly business Thursday. Maybe we can talk about another kind of business, but tomorrow is strictly business. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm sorry for those of you who wanted to call and make your points, but I don't want to be a humbug to progress. You see, they're doing the road outside of Sideline Dam there, and so I had to park my car away from my home. The big trucks are starting to come, so I've been asked to remove my car. I don't want anybody to roll over my car and so on and so forth and so forth and so forth. But at the end of the day, I think everybody has had their say. Some people are trying to double dip and stuff like that. You can't do that today. Tomorrow, I will maybe use a segment of the program to continue this morning's discourse. And definitely Friday's Free Talk Friday. We're going to talk about other things. I'm getting information here about the person who was shot in the back by the police. I'll have to find out more about this. Right? I seriously will have to find out more about this. But for now, remember that we have the Oldies coming up on the 17th. Do come and support. In fact, tomorrow is strictly business. Come with your checkbooks. You have to buy some tickets. Come on. It's a week away from those the Oldies. And you guys haven't been buying tickets. So let me remind you that I expect you to be buying tickets tomorrow. Good? Let's talk. Have a good day. Stay good. And I maintain my position. The hole in the Guyana boat is at Rob Street. Who gonna fix it? We gonna talk more about that. Goodbye.